Multiple Oscar winner Kevin Costner, no stranger to the Wild West, and now he's digging even deeper.
And our own Susie Wall caught up recently with Costner and Pulitzer Prize winning historian Doris Kearns Goodwin in L.A. to talk about the West. It's their new History Channel series. And as you can see, Susie's here with the details. Susie, good morning.
Good morning to you both. Yeah, this was not a tough assignment to accept, I have to say, but it was so fascinating to sit down with Kevin and Doris together to discuss this epic era in time. Have a look.
So, Kevin, let's begin with you. As both the executive producer and the host of The West, what inspired you to delve headfirst into this project?
Well, I looked at the pedigree of people that wanted to do this and then decided to bring me on. And it made the decision so much easier because we're really talking about serious people who actually have fun when they work. Yeah. But the seriousness of how they wanted to go about that appealed to me because certainly I don't want to be repeating some old thing that's not true.
Right.
And I wanted to break new ground. And everyone in the group was committed to that.
And Doris, how was working with Kevin and how did that help shape the way the West tells its story?
Well, I think the most important thing was as soon as I met him, I knew that this was a man who loved the West, that it was a contagious thing, so that it's a spirit that gets into everybody. And I think for me, just the older I get, the more you just want to study things that you're going to learn from. So I could learn from this and be with people you want to work with. So it was great. It was fun. You want it to be fun.
You two are fun together. Just walking in here, there's great energy and chemistry between you.
We've been drinking for a while before we got here.
Does it show?
Kevin, you have immersed yourself in this particular point in American history throughout your career many times. And what is it that keeps drawing you back in? Not just as a storyteller, but also it's personal for you, right?
What's personal is that I knew it was personal for them. There were real people making decisions. There was violence, and there was people died who made mistakes. There were people who died fighting for their neighbor right next to them, and there were people that died from the cold. There was murder. Mm-hmm. The West was alive. It was spontaneous, and there was no guarantees.
Doris, this was obviously very contentious and complex period in American history. Balancing myth versus reality for this show. How did you do that to create what was a very authentic portrayal and narrative?
Well, I think the important part is that in some of the stories, we tell the myths. We tell the way it went down over time, and then you can blast the myth and show that it wasn't true.
This year marks the 35-year anniversary of Dances with Wolves. Congratulations on that milestone. I mean, looking back on that, what was the enduring legacy of that? It's still streaming. It's still relevant, you know, when you look back on that. And how has your perspective changed all these years later?
I don't know that it has changed, honestly, which is, I'm ready to change, but I don't know what would change about what I thought. That story, you know, a lot of people think of it as a Native American story, when in fact it's a story of a white soldier who went west and was lonely. And there was a group of people he thought if he could treat them decently, he might have a set of friends. It was a good indicator to me that I could follow my own instincts, and that I didn't need the kind of reinforcement of something being a big box office hit in order to still pursue what my dreams are. I can't be driven that way, and I won't ignore history because I don't think it's popular.
Kevin, I have a confession to tell you about Dances with Wolves. I watched it in 1991 on pay-per-view. It was my first night working turn-down service at a hotel.
What?
And we figured out that if we charged each room with Dances with Wolves as we moved through the hotel and did our work, that we could watch the film in its entirety. It was my first and last shift.
That was great. That's great.
But it's nice to see you in the flesh at a hotel all these years later. So, Doris,
we were meeting in a lot of rooms, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Doris,
this blonde's following me
throughout your career. Kevin, last question goes to you. What do you want audiences to take away from this series? For me, it was not a slow burn. You had me from the jump. And how do you hope that shapes conversation around American identity today?
I don't know. It feels going to feel simple, but you know, all we have is our time, and so when we give it up to that TV or to that computer, can it fill us? Yeah. Can it create something that we might tell somebody the next day about what we saw? Can it move them? Can it thrill them? Can you see yourself? Do you understand that it wasn't a land in Disneyland?
On that note, Kevin, Doris, thank you for sitting down with us on the morning show.
So good. All right, you can catch Kevin Costner's The West streaming now on Stack TV.